Hi everybody, this is Neil Allen, the comic creator behind Zatswan Multiversal Guardian, which you can buy on Amazon.com in e-reader format and paperback. Check out the link for that in the video description. And lately I've been doing a series of videos about Green Lantern John Stewart and Hawkgirl having their iconic relationship, interracial relationship, brought over from the popular Justice League cartoon shows into the comics, and this has stirred a lot of discussion, interestingly, in like online spaces about comic books. And I'm on CBR.com right now, a forum. And it turns out that one of the arguments readers have been using against the relationship is that it does not honor the Robert Venditti run of Hawkman that came out that paired Shiera with Hawkman. And they feel that this run is just not taking the events of that comic into consideration at all. However, it turns out that there actually is a anthology comic that DC put out. It is called Lex and the City, that addresses the relationship of Hawkwoman and Hawkman, and it clarifies that the couple is not together. They are not an item anymore, which opens up Shiera to pursue relations with other people, such as John Stewart. So just to set the record straight, there is no cheating going on here. Hawkwoman and Hawkman are not a couple. Now, keeping in with the CBR theme, there is, if you're curious about that anthology comic book, you might want to check out this article. DC's most popular relationship is over. That's a clickbait title if I ever heard one. So I actually did seek out this comic book, Lex in the City, at the Valentine's Day anthology, and I did read the story. But if you just kind of want a summary of like what's going on in it and what it's about, you should check it out. So we have a poster here that says, until they put it to page in a main continuity book, I'm not going to take something that happens in an anthology at face value. So now this is something I would like to address. Now, granted, I can kind of somewhat understand where this poster is coming from. Somewhat. They are saying that because it appeared in an anthology, that they find its place in actual canon dubious. I think what we should look at is actually the real contents of the story and base it off of those. Now, I did read the contents of the story, and I would simply say this comic is it is canon because it references current DC Comics canon, and it works seamlessly with the status quo that's going on in the current Green Lantern Corps comic, which is where Hawkwoman is now appearing with John Stewart. The Lex in the City comic states that Shiera is off in space pursuing her own purpose, which is exactly what she's doing, and it explains why she is in Green Lantern Corps, but Hawkman is nowhere to be found because Hawkman is back on Earth. The story in Lex and the City, the anthology, is about Hawkman dealing with the end of his relationship. It's like a heartbreak story. I would say yes, that's in continuity, and I think it's a good idea to take a look at the actual contents of the story and see if it lines up at all with current DC continuity, rather than dismiss it outright as if just because it's an anthology, it doesn't matter. To me, there seems to be an element at grasping at straws because of that. Like, oh, I'm not going to take that seriously because of where it appeared, rather than actually evaluating the contents of the story itself. And it's just kind of interesting to me the lengths that some people go to like try to discredit the Hawkgirl, Hawkman romance. It's interesting that this particular topic is such a hot button issue, but it doesn't surprise me at all. Um, let's go find some other arguments here and see what I think about them. Okay, so here's an interesting comment that I want to take a look at. It says the thing is, the primary source of the argument here is that it's only to facilitate Shayera being put into another romantic relationship. It's not really a new story avenue if the avenue is to shift her from being Carter's girlfriend to being John's girlfriend. Let me pause here. This is new for regular DC Comics continuity. We've never seen what John Stewart and Hawkgirl's romance can look like in DC Comics. We've seen what it could look like on the cartoon show, but I have something else to say about that. Like, Hawkman and Hawkwoman is definitely not anything new either. But moving on, I fail to see, I believe it was meant to be, I fail to see exactly what new is being done here. The only difference is Shayera being paired for a more popular character, and that all this argument is the call to doing the most popular thing. Might as well make Wonder Bat canon then, since that's a popular DCAU ship. And DC already did that when they made Super Wonder canon. Actually, for the record, I would say DC did make Wonder Bat canon if you go back and read Joe Kelly's JLA run back in the 2000s. Wonder Woman and Batman relationship, I would say, is actually canon in DC Comics. So they did do that. So what this user here is saying is that they don't like the idea of doing a Hawkgirl or Hawkwoman with Green Lantern John Stewart just because that's the popular thing to do. My take on that is that that's an interesting viewpoint. I would think that doing the popular thing would be encouraged because it's popular and it has a broader appeal than other alternatives. Yes, it being popular is a very good reason to do that. Like, why would you actually not do that? Like, I'm trying to put together what is bad about being popular. To me, it's kind of bizarre that the relationship is as popular and as well known as it is, and DC Comics does not do anything with that. I think it's really weird, actually. And another argument that I've seen is that this relationship only really benefits John Stewart fans, and that's it. I've seen some users say that. Here are my thoughts on that in particular. Why is it always a problem for John Stewart fans to actually get what they want? It's interesting that whenever John Stewart fans do get what they want, which is extremely rare, there are always people, and they're usually kind of the same people, who always have a problem with that. And I would say it's not just John Stewart fans, it's fans of the Hawkgirl, Green Lantern dynamic in general. But this is like why I actually think that after not getting something for so long, actually fan service nostalgia can be a good thing. It can reinvigorate a fan base, validate their passion. That's kind of what it's done with me. When you're felt that you're never getting anything that appeals to you, and the comics are made to appeal to other people, well, that's why I don't read DC Comics anymore, other than this Green Lantern core comic, because it's like, this isn't made to appeal to me. I feel this is for other people. When they actually do something that appeals to you, it's like, okay, your passion for these characters, your passion for what you came to like about DC gets validated and reinvigorated instead of being told you're somehow wrong for liking that, which is what a lot of readers would like to insinuate. It's the company saying, no, you are feeling seen, you are feeling heard, we see you, we hear you, we know what you want, and here, we're going to do that. It makes you feel seen and it makes you feel appreciated, which I think a lot of John Stewart fans do not feel from DC Comics, and the reason for that is because I think that it goes into what I said in a previous video. If DC wants to really appeal to John Stewart fans, they have to boldly be willing to destabilize some other fans and what those fans want to see. John Stewart is not a safe character. He's a very controversial character, actually. And he's not for everybody. Now, I think a lot of people want him in this sort of safe spot where he's not rocking their boat. They're getting their and that safe spot would be a Jeff Johns comic where he's in the background, not really doing anything. He can be present, he can be around, but not mattering. And the characters that they want to see he doesn't take any attention away from the characters that they actually want to see and the paradigms that, make them comfortable, like Hawkwoman being with Hawkman. Now, what John Stewart fans actually want to see is going to disrupt that quite a bit. They're going to want to see him actually as a hero with agency that matters, that's not behind or beholden to another character like Hal Jordan, and they're going to want to see him with his most beloved and recognized and known love interest, Hawkgirl. Now, a lot of these DC Comics readers are going to have big problems with that, but if you want to appeal to John Stewart fans and you want to make John Stewart an actual cool character, you need to take him off this leash that makes him safe for fans of other characters. So it's basically, who do you want to talk to? What do you want to do? You want to make John Stewart popular, you got to take him off the leash and actually give his fans what they want to see. The Hawkgirl relationship is like one of those things. John Stewart having agency and not being behind Hal Jordan is another one of those things. A lot of these readers aren't going to feel comfortable with that situation. They'll feel more comfortable with him not really mattering, not really doing anything, being behind Hal Jordan and stuff like that. But I do think it's kind of weird, oh, this relationship is popular. I guess, to be completely fair to the poster, it's like one of the arguments for doing Hawkgirl and Green Lantern is that it's known and it's popular. And I think what they're saying here is that's not a good enough reason to do something because it just feels like nostalgia pandering. But what I guess what I've been getting at somewhat in this video is I don't think that's inherently a bad thing. It's something that maybe needs to be kind of balanced. But nostalgia pandering is not inherently bad when there's a demand for something and the fans are constantly denied that. Then I think it's actually good to recognize those fans and their wants. When they're never getting what they want, they're never getting what they want to see. It's not a bad thing for DC Comics to say, hey, I know you're there, I hear you, I've been hearing you, and I recognize your wants, and here's something that will appeal to you. That is not bad. Now, I think the insinuation here is that it's just empty nostalgia pandering and there's no compelling story behind it. But that's not a fair thing to say. I think you can do both at the same time. You could appeal to people's wants and you could also craft a compelling story. What I saw in Green Lantern Corps number 2, I enjoyed. I thought it was a pretty interesting story, but again, that comic I think was geared to appeal to someone like me, and it was probably less geared to appeal to somebody like this. So, it's like, um, when there are elements that you already enjoy and that you want to see, you're going to be more conditioned to seeing those things. There's going to be more there for you than there would be for a person who doesn't value those things that you like. Um, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily a bad story. It's just stuff that they don't want to see. Like this poster here just does not want to see. So that reaction in their brain, like a person like this poster, is not going off when they see it. Like when I see Green Lantern and Hawkgirl in a DC comic, I'm instantly captivated. There's a neurological reaction that is pleasant and positive just from seeing that, and I am captivated by it. This poster obviously does not have that same reaction, which means that does not necessarily mean the story is bad. It just means there's something going on in there that this poster either does not, that this poster is probably inclined to not appreciate. It's not just that it's there. I don't think this poster is neutral at all. It's that there's something going on there that they actually actively are against. Anyway, I'll continue keeping a look at, the discussion and offering my comments whenever I feel I have something interesting to say. And this isn't necessarily, again, an attack on these particular posters, for getting their viewpoints out there. It's just also putting my view in as well. Be sure to pick up my comic Zatswan Multiversal Guardian, currently available in paperback and e-reader form on Amazon.com. Again, the link to that is in the video description. And I will talk to all of you again very soon. Take care.